Okay, the next thing I want to do, let me zoom out just a little bit, well, actually, let me zoom back in, and I want to show you another trick. Now, there is a tool here called the hand tool, and all that does, when you click on it, is move your viewport around to different parts of the image if the image is currently zoomed in to the point where it's bigger than the document viewing area. So I can zoom back out. So now it no longer is bigger than my viewing area. The document viewing area, which is this big, all this right through here. Of course, I can zoom back in, and once it fills up and overflows the document viewing area, now I have to use the hand tool. Now the cool thing is, let's say that I've got the marquee tool selected. You're going to be constantly, especially with larger textures, although we won't be going too far, but unless you've got a super wide monitor, if you're working on a really big texture, you're going to be using the hand tool a lot. So Photoshop's got this really neat little shortcut, which is to hold the space bar down while another tool other than the hand bar is selected. The hand tool is selected. Now I'm holding down the space bar. There it goes. I don't know if you heard that or not. Probably just broke it. But as long as I'm holding that space bar down, I can move around and all is happiness and light. So, but I take the space bar off, and the hand tool reverts back to whatever tool was selected before. So now let me zoom back out, and there is the basics of working with an image and working with the workspace itself. So that'll about do it for today, except for one last thing. What I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit my default colors and change it to black and white. I'm going to go to File, Export, and I'm also going to show you Save for Web. All right. And as you can see, or at least you will be able to see, and this is, to be honest, this is what I'm more familiar with. This is what web designers use all the time. Pretty much, very much the same thing. You can set your image size, so on and so forth, like that. But what I'm going to do is I am going to, this time I'm going to save it as a JPEG again. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to look at my file size. Right now the file size is at 300 kilobytes, but that's at 100% quality. With JPEGs, the more you lower the quality, the more information you get rid of. Same as I mentioned before. And normally that sounds like a bad thing, but the more information you get rid of, the smaller your file size is. The larger your file size is, if you're saving for the web, then the larger the file size, the longer it takes for that image to load on a web page. Now, in today's modern era of broadband, it's, file that under, who cares? But it's still something worth knowing, because if you ever work with JPEGs later on, watch what happens when I change this to, say, 50% quality. We'll split the difference here. 50% quality, and it went down to 59.14 kilobytes, as opposed to 300 kilobytes at 100% quality. 50% is, halfway decent, and, I can see what it's going to look like right here in the preview window. Let's see what happens if I bring it down to 1. All right, you see how it's getting very splotchy. You'll see that a lot in JPEGs that have been compressed too much, and compression is the process of lowering the quality to reduce the file size. Just another thing I want to show you, I can go to GIF, and this is if you ever, are doing web design, and you will be expected to do web design as part of your portfolio for this class, so this is why I'm bringing it up. A little hint for later on. Change that to 16 colors. I can start to get some really good effects, and watch your file size down here too. You can almost make some art out of that. So there's the GIF. And then, when I'm done, I would click on done, and it would ask me where I'm going to save, and I don't have to worry about that. So I just thought I'd point that out to you as well. The thing that I want to, I'm going to hit cancel here. The thing I want to leave you with for right now, with the end of this video, is that a lot of times you're going to um, be sending me the Photoshop file. When I ask for the Photoshop file for your assignments that I'm going to grade, please do not send me just a JPEG. Send me a JPEG as well, but also send me the PSD file, like what this is. Um, Later on, when we get into layers, you're going to have, 5, 10, 30 layers. And in order to grade them, I need to see all the layers, which I will not be able to see if you just turn in a JPEG of your project. So be sure later on to send me the PSD as well as the JPEG of all your files that you're submitting. And I'm going to call it quits for there because these things are taking forever to compress and upload. But we'll get back in the action here in just a little bit.